Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm reliving the same year over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
I've checked out of school already. I don't even care about classes anymore.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coconut Curry. This is our second episode with the new title.
Yes.
It's also the second week of the NFL. If you're new around here, make sure you like and subscribe. We're a sports podcast. We're just three guys talking about sports in our free time. We go to college at the University of Pittsburgh. We're entering our fourth week of school, which is really crazy. But the exciting thing about that is there's a lot of good stuff going on in the world of sports. We got college football. We got baseball playoffs are upcoming. We got like a month left in the season, and then we'll be going to the baseball playoffs. NFL season started, and then in October, the NBA season starting. I think the season opens October 18th, so it's like 1 month away.
NBA.
Sports are back.
Sports are back, yeah.
I hate the NBA. I hate Joel Embiid. I hate James Harden. I hate the Sixers.
Okay. Anyway.
So I just needed to say that. They make. I hate the Sixers. I hate them.
Okay,
Can you just be happy?
Moving swiftly past that one.
Moving swiftly past that, we're going to start off this podcast by talking about Colorado versus Colorado State. They played Saturday night, 10 p.m. game, which didn't end until like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was an absurdly late game.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about it a little bit because Colorado won. Who cares? The line was like 23.5, and they won in overtime.
And they stormed the field after winning.
Granted, they went 1-11 last year.
That's true.
And they've been like they have won like maybe 5 games.
Imagine you graduated the year before this happened.
Yeah,
you went 1-11. Big to see this. But
especially you're a big football guy.
Exactly.
You show up to, like, all the home games.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders comes into town. You're
like
ranked
completely
18th
turns
in
the
the
program
country.
around.
And,
That's when you fail one of your classes.
What were you saying about Colorado?
I was pretty much going to talk about what Raj talking about. Big Deion Sanders fan during like his whole entire when he first came to Colorado, and people were questioning like his whole Jackson State leaving because some people were saying that he was like leaving the HBCUs behind for the big programs and the money. I was like, no, like I was supportive. When they won against TCU, I was super pumped. I was all for it.
Yeah,
I am so sick of Deion Sanders at this point in time. Like, it's all the talk shows, it's all the talk trashing, it's all the we're dogs and leaders, and
instead of captains.
I don't want to be an NFL because these I want to like grow up these men and whatever. And it's the storming the field. I know that's not Deion, but it's this fans storming the field after every game when they're favored to win and all this. And I'm like, I am so sick of Colorado. I don't want to hear anybody talk about Colorado again.
I know. And like the thing is about that game too is like it's Colorado versus Colorado State. And I think what people tend to forget is like that has been a rivalry in the past. That's like it's like kind of coming back. Not on the level of any like big name rivalry, but like, they're both in-state schools. Like they're going to be really chippy. They're going to be really tough.
Yeah.
I think everybody completely forgot about that. I think going into that game because they're like, oh, they're going to blow them out by 40, and it's not even going to be a game. It's going to be so good. But then it's like, guys, like it doesn't matter. It's a rivalry. Like that's a real rivalry game.
Yep.
Like there's still some stakes there. Like they will play hard. And I will say Colorado State was playing incredibly dirty very early on.
Yes.
There was an egregious late hit on Travis Hunter where I still do not understand how we can call targeting on a defender who is going to make a tackle when the running back puts his head down and then hits the defender in the head, and that's targeting. But then when a guy is hit late 5 seconds after a play ends and sends him to the hospital because he had already been cheap shotted earlier in the game. And it's like, oh, well, he can still keep playing. It's fine. It's like that makes absolutely no sense to me. It's like you can clearly watch that play and go, his full intent was to hurt Travis Hunter, like period.
Yeah.
Like that was his full intent. Like he should have been kicked out of the game. That's Bush League. Get it out.
Part of my whole issue with the whole entire like Colorado State saga is I blame the player because if you make the late hit, that's still a decision you consciously made. But I blame the coaches because they made this game about like
they made it way too personal.
They made it way too personal than it had to be.
Yes,
to start the game. I mean, one Colorado State coach is talking about
take your sunglasses off. Take your sunglasses off when you're talking.
Then Deion goes ahead and makes that a whole entire thing. Now Shadur is like yelling at the team during warm-ups, and they're like flipping each other off and fighting before the game starts. Then you get into the game, and then you got all this pent-up tension, and the coaches did seemingly nothing to like negate that tension during the game. Like even after halftime, it was still chippy and everything like that. And it's just like, I just feel like I'm watching a Colorado team that is just like trying to ride this like national media wave now. Yeah. Like Deion Sanders is on, and again, he's doing it for his brand. He's making these kids a lot of money, so I give him credit for that.
Yeah,
but
credit there.
He's going on every single talk show. There's a 60 Minutes on him tonight. He's been on he's been on Skip Bayless's show. He's been on Shannon Sharp's show.
Pat McAfee, I think too.
He's been on Pat McAfee. Yeah, he did the Saturday kickoff show for college football. All this stuff, and it's great brand and attention. I get that's the whole point, but I'm also like so sick and tired of the saga over there. Meanwhile, you've got another team like USC with Caleb Williams, who's just a better team, and you don't hear squat. So I'm like, I feel like Colorado is okay if they do this now, but I feel like they need to kind of like curb, like have one game where you're not saying some egregious quote or like making news headlines before you go into the game.
It's going to take them to lose. Like the second they lose, that's where, the haters are going to be coming back, whatever. And there's going to be all these narratives, whatever. But then I think it's like, once they lose, like they'll lose a game, they'll win a game, they'll lose a game.
They play Oregon next.
Oregon should beat them.
And then they play USC, right? Then they play USC the week after.
That should be a little bit of a skid. That should kind of cool down the. Obviously, like Colorado also could just win those two games because like their offense is high powered enough. But I mean, without Travis Hunter, that's gonna be really hard. But like they could either. I think right now is like the make or break moment. Whether we're gonna be hearing them for the next 10 years. Or whether it's just going to be like a season long kind of like, oh, well, what's like Colorado up to? Yeah.
It's every day with the Colorado stuff for me. And I'm like, I'm like,
it's a lot.
It's
a lot. Yeah.
It's like that. Oh, Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders give each other's pitches for them like the opposite person to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, neither of you two are in the lead for the Heisman right now.
It's still Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Yeah. Like he's still the best quarterback in the country, like bar none.
And if Marvin Harrison keeps playing the way he's playing,
Marvin Harrison's a monster too. Like, they're looking good.
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, even Bo Nix is looking really good.
Yep.
Like, which is shocking, but he actually does look very good.
Yep. So
Shadur is 4.
Who's 1, 2, 3?
Williams, Michael Penix, the QB for Washington, Jordan Travis, QB for FSU, Shadur, Hartman at 5, and and what's his face? Travis Hunter's not even on the list.
Bo Nix not even on there?
Nope.
What? Whatever.
Oh, wait, Bo Nix. Bo Nix is on here. Travis Hunter isn't.
But it's so early.
It's like 2 games.
It's so like they were talking about them winning the Heisman after like the first game.
Colorado State won against TCU, and they're like they are going to win the national championship. It's like
Travis Hunter at 13 plus 3,500.
They were giving the Heisman talk after the first game against TCU, and I was like, there are like 13, 14 games in the season, and I was like, to win the Heisman, you pretty much have to lose only 1 or maybe 2 games. Like you can't lose more games than that. So, and I think Colorado will probably end up getting 2 L's.
Yeah, because Oregon, USC, right there, and then they could lose another game after. Because the whole thing is like we don't know.
They almost lost to Colorado State.
I don't know what Travis Hunter's injury is looking like currently.
Right now, they're saying out for a few weeks. They haven't disclosed what it was yet.
Okay, I'm guessing it's going to be something like ribs or something. Like
that
because that's what it seemed like. But
that's part of the problem too. When you have a guy, he's still a credible talent, but when you have a guy play number 1 position on both sides of the field,
it's just
you lose your starting cornerback. Like it's enough for a team to lose their starting receiver, their number 1 receiver, but then to lose your number 1 quarter. I'd be like the Jets losing Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner
at the exact same time.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
And you'd just be toast.
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
So Colorado in that regard is a little thin, but we'll see how they.
We'll see. They could always bounce back. They could always prove us wrong. They could prove everybody wrong. But
all I want them to do is just stay out of the news.
Good luck.
It's media. They ride the hot hand. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
It just depends how many if people keep giving clicks. Like we're talking about it on our show, so
we're part of the problem. But, there we go.
I can promise you I will
cut the segment.
What?
Nothing.
Cut the segment.
Cut it.
You're right. They can never see this. But I'll definitely not be clicking on any Colorado clips.
Want to make it very clear. I still very much support Colorado and hope they do well. It's just a lot right now.
Yeah, I'm just every day. It's just like I just can't. Also, I cannot get over the 10:00 game. Like that.
It's so late. It's so late. I can't watch it.
It was 2 a.m. and everyone was tweeting, "Why is this game on at 2 a.m.?" Oh my god. All right, yeah. But moving on, we're going to talk about a little bit of week 2 of the NFL. We're recording this right after the 4:00 games ended on Sunday, right before the start. So we will be not covering the 2 Monday night games and the Sunday night game. We'll be talking about them about what we think will happen. So you'll be hearing this after those games happen, so you can see if we're right or if we're wrong.
Yeah.
But already this season has been super weird, which I love. I love when the NFL season gets weird. I love when sports gets weird.
This season, it had a weird feeling going into it. Like it felt different than past seasons because everybody knew it's like, okay, the Chiefs are going to be good. They're not that good. And then it's like, oh, the Eagles are going to be good. They're fine. Oh, the 49ers are going to be good. Well, they just went to they only won by 10 against the Rams.
Yeah. And it was a closer game.
It was a much closer game than that because apparently some dude had 30 receptions. And it doesn't the Cowboys shockingly look like a solid team for once.
But even some of the teams that are playing well, like the Cowboys, it's do you trust? We have no idea until we get to the playoffs.
They could easily just lose.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like there's far and away a great team right
now. Yeah. And we can just start off with the Thursday night football game. I think far and away the best team into this point have been the Eagles and the 49ers, and the Eagles have just been doing it by just being 2-0.
Yeah.
Just getting to 2-0 right now puts you in a good spot with how weird it's been.
But it's it's a very different 2-0 than I feel like last year.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's you barely beating the Vikings, and there was easily times because Justin Jefferson fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line,
he touched through the end zone.
Through the end zone touchback. That easily could have been a touchdown there. That could have been a way different game after that point. Mm-hmm. Jordan Addison torched the secondary.
Yep.
It was a much closer game because I thought the Vikings were going to regress a lot more. I mean, it's either the Eagles regressed more than I thought, or the Vikings weren't going to regress as much. Because I guess they filled some decent holes on their defense, but then again,
I think the big problem with the Eagles have been that as soon as their secondary was already going to be a little bit weaker, they don't have good linebackers, they don't have good safeties, and then they were all these injuries going into the first game.
Which is
injuries, horrible for the Eagles in regards to just you're already getting injured and it's week 2. But they were down cornerback number 2, they were down to Kobe Dean, they were down Reed Blankenship starting safety, so they're down all these guys on secondary. Avonte Maddox goes out middle of the game, so now you've got a bunch of guys on defense who are inexperienced going up against, and I mean the Vikings, I'll give them credit. Their
offense is good.
They have really good skill position players.
Yes, they do.
Maybe not at running back right now, but Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and then TJ Hawkinson,
and KJ Osborne too.
They have really good skill position players, so you're really gonna have a tough outing against them. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was good for them to pick up the win. And again, even though they don't look great and Jalen Hurts doesn't still look good, I mean 2-0,
it's still 2-0.
Right now, it's a big deal, especially if you get the Cowboys in your division 2-0. At least you're keeping pace with them.
Exactly.
And I think in terms of Cowboys, Eagles, I think the Eagles have actually played superior talent.
They have
at this point.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Just being 2-0 is good. And I give them a ton of credit for that because at the end of the day, you need to win football games. Mm-hmm. My question is, Vikings are 0-2. Is it time to panic?
No, I wouldn't hit the panic button yet.
Not yet.
You played well. You played well against who they play week 1?
Bucks.
There we go. That was a bad loss. That was a bad loss to the Bucks. But
if you want to hear our thoughts about that, you can go click the clipped video on our channel.
There we go. But yeah, that was a bad loss to the Bucks. But they came out. They played hard against Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They played them well. It was because it was very obvious. They made their own mistakes. They shot themselves in the foot and lost that game. It wasn't they just got the doors blown off them like the Giants against the Cowboys. It was very clearly. If they made the right decision here, they didn't get a false start there. It was that could have been a way different game. So I don't think it's time to panic yet. And also, not to mention, you still have the Bears in that division. You're going to curb stomp them. It's fine. You got 2 wins there. And again, this is coming from a Giants fan. We're terrible, right? Don't hate me. But the Vikings should not be panicking yet. Jordan Addison, he easily could win Offensive Rookie of the Year at this point. He's already on track for that.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson is still Justin Jefferson. Their offense is so good. You go up against the bad defense, you're hanging 30 on them easy. Yeah. So I don't think it's time to panic yet. But if they still keep losing these tight games, unlike last year where they started winning those tight games, I think that could be a little bit of they could go on a big slide.
Yeah.
If they just keep playing hard, but then just losing. Might be tank season. They might be going for the best offensive lineman in the draft or running back or whoever. Or, dare I say, Caleb Williams.
Oh, my God.
Raj, thoughts on the Vikings?
I mean, you guys said it the most. The one thing that concerns me is I don't really know how to gauge everything right now. I don't know what's wrong with the offense. I know we have a new OC, so things are going to take a little bit to get put together.
Are you saying we, Vikings, or
Eagles?
Eagles,
yeah. We as in the Eagles. But new OC, growing pains, I guess. Hopefully we'll figure it out eventually. I think what happened in the first half of that game was, who's our OC's name? Brian
Johnson.
He's just new.
He's new. He kept calling the same QB run for Hurts the whole play. And then eventually finally realized, hey, DeAndre Swift can run the ball. Yeah. Let's just run that the whole time.
120.
I think they're trying to get Jalen Hurts back into the zone. He doesn't really look like he's flowing out there well.
I don't know what's up with him.
And I think they're trying to get him into a flow by running him out, but like that's the last thing I want them to do is like start having him run the ball and get hurt and like just let him drop back,
short
and
passes,
throw, and if he stinks it up, just keep letting him do it. And
short, quick passes, run under routes, run rub routes, just like quick things, just to get him back in the groove. And
his best runs are when he has to scramble out the pocket.
That's any quarterback that can run doesn't usually run best on design runs because it's like the defense knows that they're gonna run.
Yeah,
but it's always like the scramble drills. Like that's what Jalen Hurts works off of, and also because he's very stocky too. So once he gets into the secondary, it's like you get a corner going up against him. Like he can lay the boom.
Yeah. I saw someone tweet it, and I 100% agree. The Eagles right now have just been winning on pure talent.
Yeah, like they're just was not good game planning.
They're just better than every other.
They're just better.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good spot to be in.
Yeah. I mean, great. Exactly. You can just lean on high end talent to be able to win, but that's not going to win you games in October.
Unfortunately for the Vikings, they're 0-2, but they have not played a division opponent yet.
No,
and everyone else in their division is 0-2 or 1-1. So they have still 6 games where they can go in, and if they go 4-2, 5-1, they're just gonna they're just gonna be right back in the chase.
Yeah,
so
they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
But they do need to win next week. I don't know who
they
playing.
Do. Next week is definitely they have to win it. But
you can't go down 0-3.
You can't go. 0-3.
And granted, they were in a tough. I mean, both the Eagles and Vikings were, but after week 1, then you're going on a short rest for a Thursday night game, which is a bad position to be in.
Yep.
We got the Vikings play. Vikings have Chargers at home.
They'll beat the Chargers. The Chargers are frauds.
Yeah, potentially. Moving on, 1:00 games for today. And what was probably one of the biggest games that'll happen in the early bit of the season is the Ravens taking down the Bengals.
That was huge.
That's
the Ravens have always had the Bengals number.
They do, yeah. I was betting on the Ravens to beat the Bengals. I didn't think they'd come out well, and I mean they tried to make it close at the end there, but 27-24, 0-2 Bengals. Like, what are we doing with that? Like, that's the Bengals that's going to be an uphill battle to get into the division lead. I think it's going to be nearly, because if the Browns beat the Steelers, you're going to have 2-2-0 teams in a division. But I mean, the Bengals are really good. They have a good team, so I don't know what to do with them.
Because I'm pretty sure they started 0-2 last year.
Yeah,
but they
looked like 0-2 and 1-3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They didn't start off well last year, but it's the Bengals O-line, man. Like, they can't keep it together. I don't know what's going on. Like, they can't protect Joe Burrow. He doesn't have enough time to throw. Did T. Higgins get passes today?
2 tutties. I think 6 receptions.
So he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Because like that's the whole thing is like when you're so unbelievably pass heavy, and they have the best wide receiver trio in the league. Like obviously, but when you're so unbelievably pass heavy and teams who have a decent secondary can just sit 2 high safeties and just play zone and just like, all right, throw it. Like you can only do so much against that when both guys, when your number 1 and number 2 are both going to be doubled. Like that style of offense can only work so much. And the thing is with the offensive line, as like an offensive lineman, you like to run the ball because you want to be able to get the defense on the back foot. You want to be hammering that. And I don't know why they haven't been leaning into it, probably because the offensive line isn't good. But they've been trying to fix this O-line for a while now, and it's still not.
Yeah, it's been a terrible just rebuild.
I think Joe Burrow just re-injured his calf.
He might have, yeah. I think one of the big problems with the Bengals, too, and I mean, listen, it might have worked out well. They got Jamar Chase, but they didn't really go through the traditional, like, let's build from the lines. If you look at, like, a team like the Eagles versus the Bengals, like, the Eagles have constantly built into their line.
First,
and they, like, traded for A.J. Brown, and they got Smitty when they had him in the first pair. They also had a later first-round pick they could use on lines, too. The Bengals haven't really spent that much on the line. They've been doing it on skill positions, which is good.
It's one strategy versus another.
But every year you're having this issue with the line, and Joe Burrow does not look explosive right now at all.
No, because he looks like he's still hurt.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to I'm not trying to push the alarm button on them, but being down 0-2 in that division is bad. They're also down 0-2 against divisional.
That's horrible.
Which is horrible. And it's not necessarily like they're going to just have an easy. Like they've got the Rams next week, which
they should win.
They should win, but the Rams have been playing.
The Rams just put up 20 against the 49ers, and they were sticking with them. Or 23, I think.
The last second for the cover.
Whatever. They have the money.
Yeah. So I mean, and they're going to have to play the Ravens again this year, and they're all these guys again. So I'm hoping the best for the Bengals. I want to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch, but it's just like it's the same issues.
And the only impression I was left from is, and I would like to get your thoughts on this: are the Ravens? They're well-rounded team. Like we know they're good, but do they have enough star power to actually make a move into the like Super Bowl conversation?
It depends on how Lamar plays. That's it.
I'm gonna say no. I love Lamar. I really, really do. I love him as a person. Love him as a player. But it's the Lamar Jackson show at this point. Zay Flowers is very good. Don't get me wrong. Very, very good player. I think Odell Beckham just got hurt again.
Yeah,
he did.
I think he's out.
He it might have been his knee too. I watched him land, and it was like a straight leg, giant leg.
Look, and again, I am an Odell Beckham Jr. fan, Giants fan. I've loved this guy my entire ever since he came on the field. But he was not the guy they should have gone after.
No,
you need a reliable receiver. They should have gone after DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know what they were doing. Like they have the money, they're not paying anybody.
I also don't really think it would have been hard to convince free agents or guys who might have wanted to be traded to come to the Ravens.
No,
I know it's not like the best location,
but it's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it's Lamar Jackson, and you've got a shot there.
Yeah,
you have no competition at the position.
No,
it's Mark Andrews.
It's yours.
It's Mark Andrews who plays tight end,
and then you have a rookie slot receiver.
Yeah,
but then that takes pressure off you because you would still be the number one.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know because their defense is solid. They still,
but even with the solid defense, I'm like, I don't like. They're really good, but even they're having studs, the best defensive players in the league. They don't even have those.
Their front four is okay. I think it's Jadeveon Clowney actually signed there.
Yeah, he did.
So he's a solid pickup. He's a solid rotational guy. Their linebackers are really good, and
their linebackers are fantastic.
Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, very good duo. Their secondary is beat up though, because they lost Marcus Peters to free agency, who he wasn't great last year, but still lost him. Humphrey's very good. Kyle Hamilton is still young. He's still developing as a safety. And I think they had somebody get hurt earlier in the preseason or first game or something.
My only question is are they too good at the positions that don't matter? Linebacker and safety are typically
you can have one solid player there and then kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
You can especially on defense, it's a lot easier to play as a full unit.
Yeah.
Where you can make up for the fact that somebody isn't an amazing player on the defense if you can scheme it well. And obviously offenses will try to attack that, but then you can obviously it's a chess match. But on offense, it's they don't have. I mean, they lost J.K. Dobbins, which was really really tough. That's a really tough loss.
Even seeing them strut out with Gus Edwards today as running back one, I was
it was Gus Edwards,
Justice Hill.
It's look, I don't like paying running backs, but you got to get a better running back than that.
Yeah,
because you can't have Lamar Jackson be the running back. Because he's gonna get hurt again, and I love watching Lamar Jackson play, but he's best when he's scrambling, not doing design runs.
Yeah,
because he's going to get hurt. That's just a fact. People are getting too fast, and not necessarily that they're gonna be able to catch up to him because no one can touch him.
Yeah,
but once they actually do hit him, they're gonna hit like a truck.
Yep.
So that's what I'm just worried about. Is they got Mark Andrews, they got Zay Flowers, they might have just lost Odell. Their offensive line's fine. But it's I just don't know if they can get over that hump. I don't know if they can.
Basically what he was saying. I was going to bring up the backfield the whole time.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off there.
It's fine.
It's just I see a good team, but then I'm just I watch them and I'm just
they just.
I know the Bengals can make the run because they're just really.
You've seen it.
They've got great skill position players, and I'm just I don't think the Ravens are good where they need to be good, and they're just.
They're just not investing in the right positions that they need as a team.
I mean, I know it sounds very Eagles biased, but the Eagles have been good for a long time, a decent chunk of time now. You do not need your safeties and linebackers to be all pros. If they are, that's great, but you need to have good corners who can cover receivers,
edge
and a line, an edge, the front line with edges, and then corners, and then on offense, it's having an elite receiver
and the trenches,
and the offensive line. The offensive line comes back every single year. That's why the Chiefs got rolled in the Super Bowl against the Bucs. It was for no other reason than their offensive line.
Yeah, because then you see them go back the next year and they're fine.
Same with the Vikings. We swift 170 yards on them or something like that.
Yeah. You can because you can win games that you're not going to win because of the offense. The only reason we won against the Vikings was because we just let DeAndre Swift lean on the big offensive line,
and they just moved them.
They just moved the Vikings around,
and the Vikings have decent players on the defensive line. It's just that, when you have two Hall of Famers on there, it's pretty easy. But you have two Hall of Famers, two All Pros.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. because it's
and I mean Cam Jurgens was high draft pick reviews on Cam Jurgens, who's playing at right guard right now, and I mean, give him the rest of the season if he stays healthy too. I think he'll learn a lot and be really good.
Because that's something that I always.
It's Jordan Mailata, who's really good.
He's an all-pro.
Laner Dickerson.
Dickerson, I think, might be second team.
Yeah, and then it's Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, who's a second-round draft pick,
Lane Johnson,
and then Lane
First
Johnson.
team.
Yeah,
and it's just really good, and one of the best offensive line coaches in the entire league.
And that's the kind of talent you can lean on. Because when skill positions aren't doing well, it's very obvious, and when you try to lean on them too much, that's where it's like, okay, well then we can just focus our efforts on this receiver or this running back, or we can try to send people away from this corner. You can't get away from an offensive line.
Nope.
They're there, and if the entire unit of an offensive line is good, there's almost nothing you can do to stop it.
Well, and it goes back to the watching the Jets today, they could not stay in front of Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And it completely disrupted their entire game. But every time Micah goes against, he's been lining up on the same side as Lane Johnson, and Micah's I don't think he's had a sack against the Eagles.
Oh, he hasn't let up a sack in how many years?
Lane Johnson can contain
3,000 snaps, I think.
It's ridiculous. I think he actually let up a sack the other day.
Oh, did he?
I think he might have.
Yeah.
But he's been shutting down Micah Parsons, and that's the key.
Since 2020, Lane Johnson has not given up a
sack. Well, what's
that
since? When's the article written?
Oh, that's a great question.
I never know when they consider who the stack
June
is.
30th, so
but
not sure yet.
But when you have a guy who can actually when you have a whole line that can prevent those big outbreaks,
exactly,
you will have teams who can just beat the Bengals. I think we talked about this last week, purely because the D line is way better than the offensive line, and the Bengals aren't going to be able to score.
I mean, Myles Garrett ran all over the Bengals.
Bro's doing a crossover.
Yeah, dude, that was
a crossover with his hands,
nasty.
and it just you just can't do it.
I mean, he's a freak. Micah Parsons is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I don't think that's even going to be close.
Yeah,
but
he's been on a tear lately.
Yeah, I mean, what should we just go to Jets Cowboys? I guess. Oh wait, no, but we still have more 1:00 games.
We'll go through. Yeah. We'll run through the 1:00 games.
Talk about more later.
Seahawks Lions, really fun game.
That was a really good game.
Which I'm happy for the Seahawks. They at least have to win because it was really weird that they got just killed last week, and then they had a good little win back here. Some people can cool their Jets the whole Lions Super Bowl thing after
Lions are going to the bowl.
It's we're biting kneecaps, we're gonna get to the Super Bowl.
Listen, man, we're just chomping on kneecaps, man.
Yeah, so I thought this was a key win for the Seahawks, and
very big.
Even just for since the Rams are playing better than we thought, they really need this win to
they do.
Keep them back in that hunt because they were 0-2 now, they're competing with a lot of other guys. The Detroit defense, they brought people in to fix it, but they're still
booty.
Yep. Still not good.
I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson's still very good. He made a bunch of key plays. But then again, he also did get a personal foul that ended up moving them up. He scored. But we'll ignore that one. But, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson's still really good. But again, it's the one guy who can then send 4 people to go block, and then nobody else can get through. I mean,
I still think they're young
they're a young
but it's
team.
At some point, they need to figure out where their timeline lies. I mean, they're still missing Jameson Williams because he decided to bet on football games. So they're still missing him. And the only question I wanted to know is, do you think Jared Goff is good enough to win the Super Bowl for them, for this team? So I know he got
for
the
this team. I don't think so. I think Jared Goff has gotten a lot of hate in the past, and I think last year he kind of proved that he was a very underrated quarterback. But I think right now, I believe they have Hendon Hooker on the roster.
They do.
I think they do
on that team. Yeah.
So I could see Goff kind of playing out his contract in Detroit and then eventually passing the reins to Hendon Hooker. I don't know what Hendon Hooker's been looking like in practice. I don't know if he's been doing well. Is he still coming back from an ACL tear? I don't know how much he's been playing or anything.
And everyone knows that he wouldn't be taking the starting job.
No, he would not be taking the starting job.
Jared Goff is. I really like Jared Goff. I think he's good enough.
Yes,
but to win the Super Bowl, I think he can play good enough because he just threw his first interception. And
he's a very, very reliable quarterback.
Yeah, he's not making mistakes.
Yeah, you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna necessarily win because of Jared Goff, but you're not gonna lose because of it.
Yeah, you can lose because of Josh Allen. We saw it last week.
Yes, you can.
But you can also win
because
with Josh
of
Allen. Yeah.
Yes.
And Jared Goff really bridges that gap where he's just in the middle.
But he's a little bit above
that.
I'd say he's definitely in the lower teens when it comes to quarterbacks.
Raj, would you take Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
That's a tough question. They're the same person. That's a tough question.
Wow.
I think they're the same player, but I think Kirk is more talented but makes more mistakes.
So are you going higher ceiling or higher floor? That's your question.
I would take Jared Goff at this point after what I've seen the first 2 weeks.
I'm gonna go with Jared Goff too. I would go with him. I think Kirk, he's nearing, like, not in the end of his career, but he's coming to that point where, like, his prime was like,
he's past his prime.
Yeah, it's nearing the point where, like, they're struggling on the Vikings offensive side. He's looking like he still can throw the ball and whatever, but, like, I don't know how much time Kirk has left compared to Goff, and Goff has just been looking like just solid.
Yeah, he's been very reliable. He hasn't been like as good. I mean, obviously, because Sean McVay is like an offensive guru, so he can make basically anybody look good. But yeah, I think that's
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, Exhibit A, Puka Nacua. He has been a monster. But yeah, I definitely think I would take Goff too, because I would just prefer to have a quarterback that you could just rely on.
Yeah, I think we could be saying that Jared Goff's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I could see the argument.
Yeah.
I would need to like actually write down a full list.
After I get out 7, I think you start getting into that Jared Goff territory, because we can rattle it off real quick. Mahomes, Trevor, Josh Allen,
Joe Burrow.
Hurts, Joe Burrow, Tua, Lamar.
Where would you put Dak on there?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I don't like Dak, but I would say
He's on there.
Dak's 8.
Dak's 8.
Well, that's not in any order for anyone. That's just like rattling them off real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, you have like a decent amount of quarterbacks, and then you start getting into
Stafford.
Healthy Stafford. Yeah, he's good.
But then that's when you start getting into
it could be
Jared Goff, 10, 11, 12, 13.
That's why I was saying like low teens. Like he could easily be out there.
Which in the NFL, that'll keep your job because
easily. Yeah.
There's not a lot of
solid quarterback.
There's definitely a level where like you need to be good enough at quarterback to win Super Bowls at this point.
Yeah. But I think he clears that.
I think he does, but barely.
Yes, he like barely clears it, but then he also isn't like one of those quarterbacks that's going to make you lose games.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot about Herbert.
Oh
Jesus
Christ.
So he's 10,
yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
This site, Pro Football
Focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're not always the most
I'm still scrolling. Goff at 16.
I mean, that's like directly.
Who's above him though? Like who's
Geno, Carr, Watson.
I would not put Geno.
I would not put Geno.
Last year, I would have put Geno over him. This year, no.
And I would not even say Derek. I mean, again, we'll see Derek Carr.
We'll have to see him again
on Monday. Well, it'll already pass when you're watching this podcast, but I would still not say that Derek Carr is better than him at that point. Yeah. But we'll move off that. Really brief time on Colts Texans because like who cares? I just hate seeing Anthony Richardson leave with a concussion.
Yeah,
they're just running. He's trying to do too much. He's trying to be the hero. I think the Colts looked very good against the Texans. Yeah. Their defense looks solid. I think the Texans are just also very bad. So I mean, it's not really too much to note there. Yeah, obviously hate seeing Anthony Richardson go down because he is an electric player. Yeah, I love watching him play. But they just
2 rushing touchdowns. But it's just like when I see 2 rushing touchdowns, I'm just like the rushing like. I don't want to sound like a broken record. We said this last week too, but it's just like we know how it's been for the running quarterbacks. Like in recent time, like they get hurt and they miss time, and it's the same thing I keep saying. Like stop running Jalen Hurts because like it's not going to last long. Cam Newton.
I feel like there's a difference between a running and a scrambling quarterback.
Yes. Lamar Jackson almost didn't get his contract because he's running too much. Yeah, and people are wondering about his passing. Like
I know.
So I'm hoping all the best for him. Hopefully he's not out too long. Hopefully it's not a string of getting more concussions.
Exactly.
My mind instantly goes to Tua.
Yeah.
With this, and I'm like, please just don't.
Please God no, just let him be okay. Yeah, because he is so good for the NFL. Like having that big of a quarterback, be that talented and be able to show flashes,
and such a good guy, like, so easy to root for.
Incredible human being, like just so unbelievably genuine, and also being 21 years old.
He's our age.
He's our age. And he's 6'4", 260 pounds.
Starting in the NFL.
And
here we are on a podcast talking about him.
Jesus Christ.
So we'll move quickly off that game because I promise you I will not spend any more than 5 minutes talking about any Texans game this entire year.
No. CJ Stroud looked bad. Anyway.
We talked about it last week. This whole Justin Fields
We told you.
We said I am all for Justin Fields slander. He is not good at football. He was a college all-star. That's all he ever will be in the NFL.
We talked about it all during the offseason. All 3 of us were all on board with. We do not understand why everyone loves Justin Fields all of a sudden. And now they are 0-2, and they've lost to the Packers, who aren't great, and the Bucs, who aren't good. And they lost today because Justin Fields threw a pick 6 They were down by like 3. They could have gone down the field, scored, and won the game.
Well, he threw a pick six that was like 4 yards down the field.
Yeah. So he has a pick 6, and he's not playing well. He's throwing other interceptions. He doesn't seem. He's gotten wide receiver help.
DJ Moore had a great game.
DJ Moore had a great game, and now you're 0-2. I mean, you're still in the division because the division hasn't been doesn't have anybody who's 2-0. So like, I'm not gonna write him off completely, but
still,
like this.
Why was he an MVP candidate?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
This is like how the media pumps people up when they're not deserving. But Justin Fields showed nothing last year that was deserving of all the hype.
Yes, he was very. He's a great runner. I'm not taking that away from him. But dear God, that team isn't good.
Yeah.
No.
Their offensive line is not good.
No.
Their skill positions still aren't that good.
They have one receiver.
Who's their running back?
Khalil Herbert.
Okay, yeah, not good.
Yeah.
They've got DJ Moore and then Darnell Mooney and then
Chase Claypool.
Claypool.
Yeah.
But Claypool's getting like disciplinary action. The coach is saying they didn't like what he saw in the offseason. Like
he's been playing like trash defense. They've got 2 decent linebackers. Well, Tremaine Edmonds is good. But who's the guy they got from the Eagles? Bro, it was your starting linebacker last year.
Is it TJ Edwards?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was TJ Edwards. They got like 2 solid.
Like I said, Eagles fan, we don't care about the linebackers. It's just they're just in the
but,
background.
Anyway, but secondary, not that good.
No.
Front 4 don't really have anybody of note. I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
They lost them last year.
Roquan Smith and Patrick Quinn.
Yeah. They traded those guys away last year as if they were trying to like accrue draft picks and rebuild. But then they were getting all this hype about potentially being a good playoff team, Justin Fields winning MVP. I don't know where the 2 line up. Like you traded your good players last year, and now you're just like now you're 0-2. And we said it last week, and maybe we could be wrong. Unless you guys have changed your opinion, I still don't think the Bucs are a good football team.
They're not good. The Bears are just that bad. I promise you. I love Baker Mayfield. I really do. He's not that good. Nope. He was clearly missing passes, but damn, he is fun to watch.
The funniest thing in this all, and we'll get to this game in a little bit, is that horrible division. 2 teams are 2-0. And the Saints probably will go 2-0. So they're going to have 3 2-0 teams in that division.
It's literally, this is why I love sports, because the whole, the very cheesy, any given Sunday. It really is.
It really is.
You have no idea what it's going to look like. Like the Chiefs are 1-1. They lost to the Detroit Lions. The Lions then lost to the Seahawks. The Seahawks lost to the LA Rams. What is happening?
It's crazy, and it's even something like small things like the Chargers went like toe to toe with the Dolphins, then lost to the Titans.
Yeah,
and it just all over the place with these teams.
God,
anything can happen on any given Sunday, and somehow the NFC South can be
the best division in football. They're about to be
has the best record.
They're about to be the best division in football.
Make sense, please.
It's insane.
Well, actually, no. The best division in football might be the NFC East again.
Nope, not with the Giants. They're bad.
They're 1-1 at least.
Yeah, they're 1-1, but they are bad.
Because the Panthers will be probably, assuming the Saints win, the Panthers will be 1-1.
Yeah.
No, 0-2.
0-2.
Yeah. 2-0 across the board. But then the NFC East will only have 1 loss. So
that's true.
East supremacy. I always do love rooting for the division. Sometimes I do like having the best division.
All right, you SEC person there. So let's calm down here.
But yeah, Bears just another L. Quick. I didn't want to spend much time on the Chiefs Jaguars.
It was the first. You're literally playing the Sunday Night Football intro right now. But they probably can't even hear that, bro.
Definitely not.
But so yeah, the first. Let's just ignore the entire first half of that game because it was just bad play and defense doing well. So second half of the game. I mean, it was just like kind of a slugfest where it was like just kind of scrappy football.
Just the game I think nobody expected the Chiefs and the Jaguars to have. Like with all these offensive weapons, with offensive head coaches, you would have never expected this game
17-9.
17-9. Just really goofy.
Yeah.
The most notable thing to come out of this game is the great touchdown pass call that Travis Kelce found a blank space.
Yes. Oh my God. That was so good. It was so good.
When you texted that, I was like, no way. And then I went to like Bleacher Report betting because they always put the clips up.
Yeah.
And I heard it and I was like, this is great. Like,
yeah. For those that don't know, Travis Kelce, I think is talking to Taylor Swift currently.
They're quietly
talking. So one of Taylor Swift's songs, Blank Space. So it's like, oh, you found a blank space for the touchdown. But it was very corny and cheesy, but it sounded like a dad talking.
But it's so funny.
I like it. I like it. It's cheesy, but I like it.
More commentators can stop saying sus things, and they can stop.
They've already.
They can stop saying that like Patrick Mahomes is being like slept on this year, and they can say funny stuff like that. And even though it's corny, it's funny.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, because there was also like a lot of the what happened with the Jags a lot. It was like they were like this close to scoring and then just didn't.
Yeah,
it was like there was like a Christian Kirk that was like he was like had like 1 foot out of bounds and then he was like out, or it was like a Calvin Ridley. He was like caught it and it was like an amazing catch, but he was like just out of bounds.
Yeah,
it's like it was like it could have gone either way. They both didn't look great, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
defenses looked pretty solid.
I was going to say, if you're a Chiefs fan, you feel really good about the defense going into this year. Where you
do not feel good about that offense.
No, you do not feel good about the offense, but you're kind of just like, okay, it'll come together.
Okay, finally our defense is good.
But like the defense is holding Jaguars to 9.
That's a really
Lions
good
to 16. Was it
20?
20?
21.
20. Yes,
21. It was a good number for how bad the offense played.
Oh yeah,
they got to fix the. I mean. So there's 4 fumbles today, 2 lost fumbles.
Was Eric Bieniemy the reason why the Chiefs were good?
Maybe. That would be crazy. Listen, the Commanders are 2-0.
Andy Reid's play sheet was just a food menu.
It was Eric Bieniemy.
It was always Bieniemy.
But I think the Chiefs will get it together on offense. But what's a really fun game, and I knew it would be fun, was the Packers Falcons.
That was
so weird. That was the weirdest game.
Weird too.
Desmond Ridder, the 23-year-old player that looks like he's 85.
Yep.
Somehow coming out there and putting together a win, even though he looked awful that game. Falcons defense, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit that the Falcons do have good players. Falcons are a good team.
Falcons are a good team.
Really good players.
They'll still never throw the ball to Kyle Pitts, but
never. Free Kyle Pitts.
Drake London had a really good game, which is good.
Had a great
he
game.
had a really rough first year.
Bijan Robinson had a great game.
Yeah.
Yep, he will continue to have a good game.
Yeah, he's legit. He's the real deal.
They just got to find a way to like, kind of like the Jared Goff situation, where like they got to find a way to make Desmond Ridder somewhat dynamic if they want to like make the playoffs and try to like do anything.
It's almost like they should throw it to their tight end. Anyway,
the tight end that no one can cover.
No one
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, he's in jail right now. It's insane.
Yeah, and for the Packers, it's a hard fought game. It gets the team.
Defense looked good.
I mean, I think that would be a great first round playoff matchup if like Packers make the wild card spot and then the Falcons get in as the division winner.
I'd love to see that part too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got mid quarterbacks with good teams around them.
Yeah. Cause I mean, Jordan Love looked fine.
Yeah.
Like he looked fine. Like obviously at the end there it was like, obviously young team, a lot of young receivers, like not running the right routes, like kind of like dropping some passes. He didn't make great throws sometimes, but like, again, like they both were young teams, and I mean it came down to the wire. So it was a good game.
I would say the Packers just need a lot of wide receiver help. Like Christian Watson's been injured, and that's been part of it. But like, they're not good at that position. And Aaron Jones is out today.
Lizard King.
Aaron Jones being out killed them because they did not have a run game.
Yep.
AJ Dillon couldn't get it going.
No, because AJ Dillon, he's not.
His quads are too big to constantly.
He's too big to be going that fast. Like his thighs are physically too big. They create friction where he can't move them fast enough.
The air resistance is so crazy.
He's too thick. He can't move fast enough. But good Lord, do not get in his way.
He'd be a great fullback if that league still played with fullbacks.
Oh my God, he'd be a monster. I mean, he is a monster in like 3rd and 2.
Yeah,
but he's not going to be your like pass catching, like getting the fast yards, anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's Aaron Jones and Christian Watson both being out really did hurt the Packers today.
So we covered all 4 NFC North teams.
Mm-hmm.
After 2 games, who do you think will win the division now?
Vikings still.
I think the Lions still win.
Okay.
Not by as much of a margin as I thought.
I was going to say Lions as well, but I think it could be any of those Packers, Lions.
I wouldn't be surprised
Vikings.
if it was anybody else, but I still.
The only reason I'm not taking the Vikings is just because they are already down 1 game, and what I think will be a lot of 9 and 8.
Yeah.
8 and 9.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a tight. Why the Vikings?
I mean, I feel like I know the Vikings offense, they'll put it together eventually. Their defense is their only crutch right now, really.
Yeah.
That defense, I mean, you let DeAndre Swift and the Eagles bully ball you for 179, probably like over 200 rush yards.
Yeah.
Like if their defense can put it together, then they have a solid shot at winning the division, but I don't know when the Vikings will play the Lions, but when they do, that's when we'll know.
That's going to be a big
winner.
game.
Yeah, that will be. I'm hoping that game's like at a
televised.
Yeah, I'm hoping at games. Lions play the Packers in week 4. I'm hoping that game is on a good time slot because I think a lot of people would want to watch that and whatnot. It'll be a big game. But moving on, we're gonna skip right past Bills Raiders. All I'm gonna say is
the
Raiders
such
aren't
a boring
good.
game.
The Raiders aren't good.
I have a comment. Josh Allen steps onto the field and just does stuff.
He smashes that Y button more than anybody else. He tries to hurdle any human being he sees.
No reason.
It's just silly. Like some of it's just
wow. Lions don't play the Vikings till December 24th and then January 7th.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah, so
those are going to
late
be
season.
That could swing the whole entire division.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to those pods. But yeah, I can't explain some of the Josh Allen stuff. It's just beyond
does stuff.
Even today, like I thought he played a little bit more conservative because of how bad last game went.
Yeah.
But then like he still he can't help himself.
No, he just does stuff.
It's like a toddler.
Stop.
He just sees something and just jumps.
Yeah, like just stop. Like calm down. Like you are a better team than the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders are bad. I mean, Josh Jacobs, free him.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them.
Send him to the Chiefs.
All right.
No,
oh boy,
let's not do that.
Here we go again. The Los Angeles Chargers are having more issues.
What a guess.
It's the same old Chargers every single year.
Oh my God.
They have an 0-2 record starting up the season, and they lose in overtime to the Titans.
That was horrible. Because they can't figure it out. One day their defense is bad and their offense is great. The next day their offense is bad, their defense is great. What is happening?
Yep.
I don't get it.
There's no consistent. I know they didn't have Austin Eckler today, but like it should not be the reason you lose to the Titans. You're down on 0-2 in a division that you could easily be 2-0.
Well, Keenan Allen was popping off too.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't have weapons.
No.
But how many points did they put up? Like 16? Or something like that?
It was 24-27.
Oh, 24-27. Sorry, I was looking at it.
Silly me for thinking the Chargers could beat the Chiefs in the division.
No.
Why did I ever think that?
I mean, it's laughable to me because like for the Chargers,
it has to be coaching.
This is like they could be up 2-0 in the division. The Chiefs are 1-1, and the other two teams are going to be non-factors. Look like non-factors right now.
And Raiders are not going to be factors.
So you could easily be like leading division or like in the hunt.
Easily.
But now you're down 0-2 and you're a game back of the Chiefs, and the last thing you want to be is a game back of the Chiefs because they're going to win the division again.
Exactly. And it's like, and with how, we thought the AFC was going to be so stacked, but everybody looks like trash anyway now.
It's not like Chargers have an easy schedule either. They played the Cowboys.
Cowboys is a loss, period.
Yeah. They play the Cowboys later on in the season. I think they've got a next hard game coming up next week.
We got any idea who they're playing? Or
they had the Vikings. We just talked about the Vikings, which they're on the road at Minnesota. It's not a give me.
No, that's not a gimme. Vikings actually have a decent home crowd, so like that actually will be a good game. Because it's so frustrating. Like it has to be coaching because you look.
Oh, sorry, they have the Chiefs too, so they had to play. They'll play the Chiefs twice.
Oh, Jesus!
They'll play Cowboys, which that could just be like 3 losses right there, and then you're not looking.
Then you're 0-5.
Well, they'll probably beat the Raiders. They have them in week 4.
Ty Montgomery's still in the NFL.
But yes. But because you look at the Chargers on paper, you look at Justin Herbert, who is probably the most talented young quarterback who came in as a rookie and played up to his potential since Andrew Luck. I will hang my hat on that.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Mahomes did not play his rookie year, probably the only reason why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
But you have that guy, got paid, great player. Keenan Allen, amazing receiver, contested ball catcher.
Yep.
Mike Williams, deep ball threat, another big body receiver. Quentin Johnson, another great big body freak receiver, nearly snagged it over a dude's head today, like backhanded. Mm-hmm. That would have been the craziest highlight of the day. But then you have Austin Eckler, PPR machine.
Yep.
This man can catch, he can run, he can do anything. They got some decent offensive linemen. Rashawn Slater. They got the center from the Packers 2 years ago. I forgot what his name is. Defense. They got Joey Bosa. They got Khalil Mack. They got J.C. Jackson.
Derwin
James. Why are they losing these games? I don't
curse that team. Like something had to happen.
No one last week said. We all were like, you know what? Like, you wanted to win the game, but like the Dolphins are a really good football team. That was a good game.
Yeah, that was.
But then you have to come back and beat the Titans.
Beat the Titans. They don't have anybody. They have Derrick Henry. They have Ryan Tannehill, who's fine. They have DeAndre Hopkins, but he was completely locked down last week by the Saints. And it's like you have guys that can double him.
And it's not like your defense is like super like they're good, but they're not super like memorable or super like elite.
Like who was on the Titans defense that you're scared? Like, okay, Justin Simmons, top 3 interior defensive lineman. Period. Who else is there?
Yep. Like you have good cornerbacks, but not
like Jesus, throw a double on him. You're fine.
So the Chargers just
Brandon Staley's a hack. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he's out. I think he's out after this year.
I think he's on the hot seat right now. He is a hack. He needs to go. Because I was really rooting for him, but good Lord, bad.
Yep. Agreed. 4:00 games. We'll move on through these a little bit more quicker. 49ers beat the Rams. Kind of talked about it in other things. The Rams have so much more life in them than I thought they were going to have.
Way more life, yeah.
Which is really good to see.
I mean, 49ers look good. No one's surprised. Literally no notes there. Like, yeah, they were kind of like letting the Rams back in it because they just took their foot off the gas, it feels like. But yeah, no real notes for the 49ers.
Yeah,
like,
but
they look stupidly good.
I think what's exciting for the Rams is if you get Cooper Kupp back and then Puka is still this good.
Yeah. And you have Kieran Williams at running back now.
Yeah.
Cam Akers is just out of a job now.
Cam Akers has been out of a job. It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. 49ers continue they're
just good.
They'll probably be a top 5 power ranked team the entire season and whatnot.
No notes there.
We were watching it right before we started recording.
Jesus Christ, please don't.
The Giants go down.
Oh my God.
What was it? 21-3, 21-0?
21-0. They didn't score for 6 quarters.
21-0.
Giants got blown out 40-0 last week. Come back through the first 2 quarters, down 21-0, but they come back, big comeback to take the win against the Cardinals. Let's just get the Giants fans' take on this. Peter, what are the emotions right now?
Dude, I was about to have a heart attack, man. Well, first of all, those were the worst 6 quarters of football I've ever seen in my life. NFL football, make that very clear. Pitt football has done way worse to me. But that was reaction to the Dallas game is that was the worst football game I've ever seen, period. And then that first half, I legitimately was ready for the Giants to go 0-17. I was like, this is it. We're done. Like, they had no life. There was nothing going on. Defense couldn't stop a swift breeze. Their offense couldn't figure it out. I was like, we're done. Then, all of a sudden, they just started putting it together. And
Josh Gannon said, hey, we can't get the first pick if we win this game.
Exactly. I think the owner...
He said, wow, the Texans are really bad.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, the Cardinals owner must have called down and was like, why are you winning this game? Let them back in. I want Caleb Williams. What are you doing? I swear to God, that's exactly what was happening. But also, it doesn't even matter that the Houston Texans are bad because they have their first pick.
Yeah.
But
they want them to be bad too.
So they want them to be bad. But
they're gonna get 1, 2. They're gonna draft Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Yeah, but
Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, Caleb Williams.
No, you draft Drake May. You have a quarterback competition.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just a little healthy quarterback competition. Kyler Murray, Drake May, Caleb Williams.
So what we're gonna do what the Packers GM did by drafting Jordan Love to fire Rodgers.
Yeah. Anyway, but but then it's like they just started playing up to their potential out of nowhere. They remembered, oh hey guys, we're an NFL football team. Let's play.
We're good.
And they started playing, and it was like, where was this the entire game? Yeah. I don't know. Jalen Hyatt looks great. I mean, I had no doubts that he was going to be a very underrated receiver. Darren Waller's a big body. I love how they're using him. They're not like trying to send him deep down the field and have him get murdered by safeties. They're just like, hey, just catch a quick 10-yard pass like 8 times in a row. Saquon, we might have had to just sacrifice Saquon Barkley's career for a win against the Cardinals. That is horrifying.
Yeah, you'll probably have more information on the injury than we do at the time.
We have
as
no
of right
idea.
now, we have no idea. It doesn't look. It looks like a knee injury.
It looked really bad. It looked like it was his right knee. And that was the knee that he injured before, and he spiked his helmet and was shaking his head. And I'm terrified that he tore his ACL again, because at that point, that's basically a career ender if you're tearing it twice. I mean, he came back from one. He looked great, and
the big news is he sacrificed his contract this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, which, I mean, good for the organization, I guess, but I mean, just absolutely heartbreaking for Saquon. I love him as a player. I love him as a person, but good Lord.
Fingers crossed for him.
Fingers crossed he's okay. Giants, get ready to censor this. I don't know why you were going that deep with the Arizona Cardinals. good Lord, my heart cannot take it.
Mm-hmm.
Please, you're going to kill me.
That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah. Jets lose to the Cowboys. Super predictable.
I mean,
Zach Wilson I understand you want to stick with your guy. I do feel like it comes to a point though. Like again, he didn't look like overly like terrible today, but this is just not dynamic. I think you need to call someone else in there because if you're the Jets and Aaron Rodgers can actually come back this year, which I don't think he will, but I think you have to at least give it a shot this season to win. And I don't think Zach Wilson gives you a shot. And I texted in the group chat, and I know some people think it's still. I would really just call Carson Wentz and be like, "You were once good. You were once on a team. Come back and just." Come play.
My thing is like with Rodgers out and like the way the team is built, I don't know how many people are like expiring contracts this year or anything like that. Like I legitimately could see them just being like, screw it, we're just staying with Zach Wilson and just like not doing well, getting a great draft pick.
Yeah.
And just like drafting if they can to try to go get that Penn State offensive lineman, he's like a generational tackle apparently coming out of there, or like one of the Notre Dame offensive linemen, I think too. It's like Joe Alt or something. He's supposed to be really good. I could totally see them just like saying, you know what, this year's kind of a wash, but like we're gonna prove that our team is good enough that we are literally just a quarterback away, and just going and getting a great offensive lineman and just saying screw it.
I can see it. I just am more like,
oh no, I would love to see Carson Wentz just to get called up and then out of nowhere he's just great again.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if that's going to be happening.
Yeah. All the people being like, Tom Brady's going to come back.
That would be the funniest thing on the planet if Tom Brady came out of retirement a second time and led the Jets to a Super Bowl win. I would piss my pants laughing.
Yeah, I'd be pissed off.
Well, you would hate it, of course, but
I'm just sick of the whole. I'm happy with Tom Brady's. I like him.
He's retired.
He's funny.
Let's leave him there.
Yep.
Please. Everyone was like, Sean Payton's going to fix the Broncos.
We talked about this last week.
We missed it. Was the game over by the time I got back?
What?
Because apparently there was a Hail Mary.
Oh, I don't know.
They converted a Hail Mary and then missed a 2-point conversion to win the game or tie the game.
No shot. Wait.
No way.
On.
Yeah.
Can you, Raj, look it up on your computer?
The score was... Oh my God, he's right.
Russell Wilson throws improbable 50-yard touchdowns. Time expires, but Broncos fail a 2-point conversion.
That's such a Broncos move. Oh my God.
It's overtime.
Here's a clip.
So we started recording this right as that game was ending because that game started at 4 o'clock, lasted forever. So now Commanders barely survived the Broncos, but let this be known. We said last week that I was very like, I'm over the Broncos, Sean Payton, they're talking trash. Like they lost a bad week 1 game against the Raiders. They come in, they're up 21-3.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is that
Broncos got extremely lucky because they had 2 really deep passes and they got really fortunate touchdowns. Up 21-3. Commanders come all the way back to get a 10-point lead. Then you have the whole Hail Mary thing. But the Broncos being 0-2 is an absolute disaster.
Oh, yeah.
You hired Sean Payton in the offseason.
He's going to turn Russell Wilson around.
Matt Hackett is the problem. Yeah. He's going to turn Russ around. The offense isn't going to look like this again. You let the Commanders hang 35 on your Sam Howell.
No Sam Howell slander here. Sam Howell is the truth.
I like Sam Howell.
He's not that good.
He's the truth.
I texted everyone that he should be the second quarterback in the draft. That was the year Kenny was in the draft.
Yes.
I said he should have been the second quarterback taken. He went all the way into like the 3rd or 5th round or whatever it was. And I like Sam Howell, but he's not that good. The Commanders don't have that good of an offense.
No.
And the Broncos let him hang 35 on them at home. And the Broncos had a good offensive game, and they still lost.
Yeah, because there was all that talk last year about how, if we were able to average 19 points per game, our defense would have held them to 18. We would have been whatever. Bro, you got 35 hung on you by the Commanders at home.
And now you're 0-2. You've played the Commanders and the Raiders.
They're both not good.
The Chiefs have won like 9 out of the last 10 games on you, so there are 2 more L's.
Yeah.
Like, you're toast.
Yeah, they're screwed.
And you got Russ 1 year older. Like, just... I'm happy. I'm happy.
But don't worry. They still don't have their 1st round draft pick.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm stoked that the Commanders won this game. As an Eagles fan, I'm still stoked because I hate the Broncos. Like, I'm so, like, over the whole Broncos thing.
Because they just talked way too much and then just didn't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Brian Robinson's really good at running the football.
Yes.
We support Broncos slander on this podcast.
Yeah, we do. Certified Broncos hater.
Broncos slander, Justin Fields slander.
Yes.
But not because we don't like Justin Fields, but because we hate what the
Again, we don't
do.
hate any of the players specifically. We just don't like.
I do actually hate the Broncos players.
That's him. That doesn't reflect the Coconut Curry podcast.
What did we say about that last week?
The actions and statements of our individual members do not reflect the actions and statements of the
choice words for Justin Fields.
Yes. Yeah. They
Me and Peter, the Coconut Curry podcast, believes in Justin Fields.
Personally, I don't.
The Coconut Curry also doesn't hate the Broncos, but Justin does.
Yes, exactly.
There's a fine line. But Commanders 2-0.
2-0. They're legit.
It's not a pretty 2-0.
They're legit. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm kidding. They
Sam Howell's the truth. Sam Howell's the truth. Sam Howell's the truth.
Terry McLaurin is so unbelievably underrated.
Jahan Dotson, dog.
Dog.
Brian Robinson,
dog. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they got some solid skill positions. Offensive line's decent. Their defensive front four is terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secondary is young, but I think they're going to be able to figure it out. I think Emmanuel Forbes had like a couple penalties, but I mean, you're going to get that with like rookie corners. He looks good though. And yeah, I think they're just a solid team.
Yeah. They'll definitely be in the hunt again. NFC East should be the division again. We're going to briefly cover the 3 games that are upcoming. You'll already know the results then by the time this podcast is posted. So like maybe go around like one sentence for the Dolphins-Pats game.
Dolphins should win by 50. They won't because Belichick will put on a clinic. Dolphins should still win, though.
Tyreek, anytime touchdown, it's free.
Mac Jones has a lot to prove this game.
Yes.
In terms of if he can
play
on a high stage and be that guy for the year.
Yep.
Saints-Panthers.
Mid-off.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
Saints should win by at least 10 plus.
Bryce Young needs to have a performance that's reflective of his talent
because Saints defense is good, so it's
Andy Dalton's setting his backup right there.
Not a 2-interception game.
Not a 2-interception game. He has to be solid.
Yep.
Against a solid defense.
And then Browns Steelers.
That game's going to be terrible. Worst of the week.
Yeah. Kenny has to make a statement.
My thing is, what if the Browns go 2-0?
Uh-oh.
Terrifying.
Because now you've got Ravens and Browns 2-0. The Bengals and Steelers 0-2. Makes for a really interesting shakeup.
Really interesting division.
AFC North.
Hammer the under on that game.
Yeah, hammer the under. The under's probably
the final score is going to be
Well, I think genuinely, you actually might have to just take the over because I think it's 38.
Yeah.
I think it's 38 and a half.
That's great.
I think you might just have to take the over solely because there will be
that
more
line
than
is terrible.
there will be more than 4 touchdowns scored.
Oh, for sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, or else it's gonna be a long night.
Jesus Christ, that's gonna be terrible. Oh, it's a doubleheader.
Yeah. We're back to the segment. It's going to be a weekly segment. Overreactions, underreactions.
Yes.
Raj prepared. He's got his stuff on the notes.
Oh
Raj,
my God.
I'm going to kick it to you. What is your overreaction for the week?
The Chargers need to figure it out. I don't understand. You have all these players. How? It just doesn't make sense. They're screwed if they don't figure it out. They're not going to make the playoffs. Half their players are going to leave. Austin Eckler doesn't even want to be there anymore because he has to put up with this every time. That Pita Head running back and Keenan Allen's Pita Head, both are going to leave that team because every season they do the same goddamn thing.
This is also just like a historic Chargers moment because there's still there's always that stat floating around that they've had that at one point they had the number 1 offense, number 1 defense, but still didn't make the playoffs.
It doesn't
such a Chargers moment.
Yo,
who cursed them?
I don't know.
I love it. I think it's an appropriate overreaction.
Yes.
I mean, they're in bad shape.
They're in
Even though
bad
they should be
shape.
good at a football team.
Yeah.
Peter, overreaction.
Overreaction. The Giants are dead. The season's over. Send the parade down. We're gonna go 1-16. I have literally no faith in this team at this point. I mean, they showed some fight at the end, but good Lord, if you have to show some fight against the Cardinals, we have big problems. I want Matt Pert sent on the next ship to Guantanamo.
No, Guangdong.
No, Guantanamo. He should be tried for war crimes with the amount of times he's letting Daniel Jones get murdered. Giants are dead.
My overreaction is a positive overreaction. What if the Falcons are actually really good?
I like that overreaction.
That.
I like that more than mine.
What if the Falcons are this?
What if they figured out?
What if the Falcons are this team with really good skill positions, what they already have, a solid offensive line, a creative head coach, and a quarterback who just
the truth?
All Desmond Ridder needs to do is be okay. And I'm like, what if the Falcons?
What if the Falcons are a quarterback away?
What about they go this year? And
no, Desmond Ridder's not going to do it.
What about if they win a playoff game?
Okay, that I could see. I could legitimately see them playing like the Packers and winning.
And I think they're super fun. So that's my positive.
Yes, they're a very fun team to watch. Yeah.
Yes. As the Falcons could actually just be really good.
I like that.
Raj, your underreaction.
I'm not that worried about the Bengals. They did this thing last season and look what happened. Like they started off shaky the last 3 seasons now. I think they'll figure it out eventually. They'll make the playoffs and hopefully the Bengals will keep bangling. That does not sound right.
Bungling.
Anyway,
Bengals,
the Bengals are going to be
The Bengals
fine.
will bungle.
They'll be fine. Like this happened last season and everyone's like, "Oh no, the Bengals are done for."
My only challenge is if I think that whole underreaction is so different if the Browns go 2-0.
I think it's different if Joe Burrow's injury is worse than we think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That would change everything about that.
But
one.
you are also right with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's two teams,
What the hell?
if 2 teams have a 2-person gap on you, then
Sorry,
That'd
that
be the
was Tua's falling backwards and just chucks it.
Yeah, whatever.
intercepted.
No,
okay.
it was third and goal, but still, that was just weird.
But yeah, that's a decent underreaction. It's just like something about the Bengals. I didn't watch a lot of their early games last year. They don't look like an exciting football team at all, and they really should be with the players they have.
They should be, yeah. No, I saw that. It was a really bad. Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for everybody, we were watching the replay of Sunday Night Football. Tua got a low snap, 3rd and goal, and when he went to go step back with his left foot, it literally looked like his ankle almost broke. But he was able to kind of like stand up and just chuck it. I think he's fine, but like that looked really
I think you
bad.
just saw that linebacker coming out of his face.
Yeah,
like,
and just like but it looked way worse I think than it was. I think hopefully they cut to him standing on the sideline. Nope, they cut to Belichick. Okay, I don't know.
What a sexy human.
With his cut off and disgusting raggedy sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Billy B like that.
You know what? I will.
My bad.
But my underreaction, I would say, I'm not super concerned about the Lions right now. They did lose, but I think they still win that division. I think they still, we love memeing on Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
we're just playing kneecaps, man. But like genuinely, they are that team. Like they're going to give you a fight no matter what. I think they do need to figure some stuff out on defense.
They need to figure out what they're doing with Jahmyr Gibbs.
They actually do need to figure out what they're doing with Jahmyr
because
Gibbs. He rushed the ball like 2 times a day.
He shows flashes where he's clearly a better running back, and they just don't play.
David Montgomery went down today. Jahmyr Gibbs still did not get more carries after that.
I think the Lions should really find a place for David Montgomery in the trade deadline. Like if something like Saquon's actually hurt and you could have the Giants go I think you need to give Jahmyr Gibbs the full running back
position. He's so clearly better.
Yes.
Yeah, and like they're not even giving him snaps, and like even if he is trash, like you need to figure it out now.
But he's clearly not.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's like they have plenty of offensive weapons. Their offensive line is good. Their defensive line is pretty good too. I think they just need to figure out linebackers and like corners a little bit too. Like, they got to be able to clean that up. But like I think they will eventually clean it up because Dan Campbell's he's a defensive I think he's offense. But
Dan's defense.
He's defense. Okay, yeah, because I think he played tight end in NFL. That's why I was confused. But yeah, he they'll figure out the defense. They had one of the better offenses last year after like a certain point. So I'm not super concerned about them.
I mentioned it earlier too. Jameson Williams will come back, and
he'll be back. Yeah,
Hutchinson is very good at football.
Laporta's a really good tight end.
He's solid.
I mean, Iowa grows tight end on trees, so like whatever.
They really got rid of Hawk, and it was like, okay,
all right,
here's
next
his
one.
replacement.
Next one up. Yeah, so I'm not super concerned about them right now. I think if they go on a slide, maybe, but like I don't think they will. I think they'll be gritty. They'll be able to fight in like pretty much any game. I think a lot of their games are just going to be like they're only going to win by like 1, maybe 2 scores. It's what it looks like. But again, they could always turn it on offense and just like turn it all around, or they could just start losing. I don't know.
Yep.
I think they're fine though.
My underreaction is another different one than everyone else's. Is I could care less if the Bills won that game by so much today.
Yeah,
that was like, literally a worthless game.
If you want to be like, if some people want to be like, Bills like that was just, week 1 was a flip. Nope. I'm very much like I could care. It's the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that game proved nothing.
Yep. So Bills have still a lot to prove for me in terms of this year. So I'm not worrying about that much.
Wow, guys, you beat the Raiders at home.
Yep.
Ooh.
Here's your participation trophy.
Wow.
Oh, especially comes after like Josh Allen's getting like killed by the media for his performance. He's like he'll tame it down one game, but don't worry. Short memory. 3 games later, he'll start like
still tries to jump over somebody,
throwing a double coverage.
He just goes out there and does. It doesn't make sense to me sometimes.
It makes no sense. It's so silly.
Like, why would you try to hurdle the dude? The dude's standing straight.
I know. I don't. I don't know. Remember, he's smart like tractor, strong like bull.
Exactly.
So.
I'm not going to do the betting quarter today just because our podcast is already running long. I will say, though, that betting has been very tough on the NFL in these short 2 weeks.
Utterly chaos.
I don't know what to do. I'm losing money
on the NFL.
My big mistake was recently I placed a lot of futures, which is cool because like they might pay out a lot of money.
But then you're going to get
But the problem is I also don't have any of the money in that account anymore because it's all in the future. So I have like $30, $40 like out in the future that I'm waiting for.
Hopefully.
And it's like, yeah, cool. If like this exact division, if my division winners parlay hits, that's great. That's going to be in like January. Like I'm not
cool.
My ML.
Listen, I put $1 down back in March on many outcomes for this play.
So
one of them can pay me out $3,000, but that also requires the Jets to win the division, the Steelers to win the division, and the Patriots.
It's free. It's free.
What are the Patriots? Wait, hang on. How are the Patriots also winning?
I messed that up. I made several. I made several of these. I lost track. I put $1 on maybe like 20 combos. Some of them are heinous. You got the Texans winning one of those.
Please bet smartly, bet safely. Do not bet money with
you don't have.
Bet with money that you don't have.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem.
Hey, listen, it's just house money that I won from Jamal Murray.
Please don't listen to Raj. This is not financial advice.
It is not at all.
No financial advice. We're all 21 bidding in the state of Pennsylvania. And we have a lot of fun doing it, and we don't bet money we do not have.
Yes. Exactly.
That's it for the podcast.
Yes.
Great week of football. Hopefully a good couple last games will be going on here. You'll hear from us next week. Keep doing these weekly. Anything else before we sign off?
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
I hate watching football.
We'll see you guys next time.